and welcome to the Pens and Pixels spoiler cast for Horizon Zero Dawn. Not really so much spoiler cast, more of an initial impressions cast, because
initial impressions.
I'm like 15 hours in. How far are you?
I don't know how many hours in I am. Story-wise, I've done like the whole like revenge.
What, sorry, you're just going to Meridian now? Right?
Yeah, like I did the Revenge of the Nora questline one where like
okay, we're almost at the exact same point.
The war chief.
Yeah,
I did that one, and then I went to the town right before Meridian, like the little.
I'm not even there yet.
On a mountain, like kind of fortress thing. That
the bandit camp. There's a bandit camp before it.
Right after that is the Day Tower, and that's the first Karja like encampment.
I'm your host, Cal G, and to my left is the coordinator extraordinaire.
Mike Kent. You're looking so confused.
No, I just wanted to get our names out there before we started delving into the game.
Yeah.
And we are going to be talking about spoilers up until that point, roughly.
Yeah.
About 15 hours in, hitting the big area of the map, it looks like. We're just about to enter there. So this is spoilers up until that. So if you're wary of story spoilers up until that point, be warned. Go play the game.
Yeah.
Don't play the game. And just listen, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter. But...
As a precursor, though, quickly, how much of a completionist have you been with your half of the map? I've cleared everything.
I don't know if I've cleared everything. I think I have.
I've gotten like every metal flower, every fucking statue, every.
Oh no! Okay, no,
point.
I have not done that yet.
Yeah, I got every vantage point. Like as I go up through the map, I'm clearing it before.
Actually, okay, let's talk about this for a second. What do you do with vantage points?
Well, what do you mean?
I only went to one on purpose.
Look.
I only went to one. Does anything happen? Does anything unlock, or does anything?
Well, did you see the video?
The only one I found was this fucking. It's at the top of a tree, and there's no way I can get to the top of that tree. I don't know what to do. So I'm just like looking up, and I see the waypoint up there, and I'm like,
Oh, so yeah.
And I look around, and I'm looking around. I'm like, I went there twice, and I was like,
the best climbs. They're so fun to climb.
The trees?
Well, every vantage point has a path up, and that's the trick, is to find the way up.
There's only like 3... You must have done it by now.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Okay, so climbing in the game is very clearly labeled.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's all like yellow and shit.
I mean, for the mountain stuff, like they give you a labeled path, you can just jump up most mountains.
Yeah.
I've noticed they're like, here's the path, and you're like, I don't need that. But for the vantage ones, like it's very clearly defined by yellow jumping stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just look for that and go up.
But this is like in the middle of a field at the top of a tree. There's nothing around. Like one
of them was actually just on a cliff, like in the middle of a forest. That was no climb. It was just like, here's a forest. Just go stand on the cliff.
I just can't get to it. Okay, I'll go back there and I'll look for something around there. But I'm pretty sure I looked already, and there was.
Anyways,
nothing.
What happens when you get up to them is you got to open up your focus, and when you do that, you get like a video like overlay of looking through to what the world used to look like. So like it'll be like a shot of a building. It's like as if you're looking through a camera at that little screen kind of thing.
Oh, haven't done not a single one of them. Because that's the only one I tried to go to, and I was like, I guess it's just like.
It gives you a little audio story too, so it's like seeing the world before the destruction.
Interesting.
I don't know what it unlocks once you gather enough of them.
No, who fucking knows?
So far, all the collectibles are all like trade these for things with the merchants in Meridian. So like I've got a lot of shit when I get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
So yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn's here.
Yeah.
I clearly don't understand vantage points. Yeah, and it's so weird finally playing this game, and like we heard how good it was, and I actually it lived up to the hype. It's fucking awesome.
So for initial impressions, like my initial impression was like, fuck yeah.
From the get-go, I love the opening.
Yeah.
Like when you're child Aloy and you're going through this almost Disney-esque like beginning of her like training with him, and like you throwing the rock and the distracting the thing, and everything seems like new and intimidating because it's a new game. You don't know what the fuck's going on, and like you had to all the way up to when you have to fight the first Sawtooth. That's like that was super intimidating. I'm like, you want me to fight this Black Panther? I am not gonna do that. I did, but like everything is just stunning in this game. It's obviously visually gorgeous. Like straight off the bat, the entire world is just rendered to hell.
I will put towards the visuals as one of my very few negatives with this game is that it's very clear that this is a first time for them doing this type of game, and only in the actual video moments. And I'm not talking about like no one's truly mastered expressions. Like that happens, and most of them are expressionless. That's fine, but there's a lot of range of motion and a little bit of clipping and a little bit of like really jolty movement.
Sure.
Where like whenever they go to a sequence and it's talking, it's a little bit like, wow,
So
you guys haven't done this a lot.
So-
clearly, other people have been doing it really well for a while now, so this is new to you.
I don't want to excuse it because it should be better. I agree. At the same time, they're like it's not Naughty Dog level good. The faces look good, but the actual like emoting isn't like always there.
And the shots and the camera angle and the animations, they jitter a bit.
But the conversations remind me so heavily of Fallout style conversations that when I think to Bethesda's games and like the fucking static, no expression as they're like battling on, like I'm like, this is leagues above that, and it's the same style of game where it's open world RPG. Like compared to another open world RPG, I think this is fucking incredible for the conversation stuff. But yeah, if you look at something like Uncharted 4 is probably like a
same thing.
Like a not a bad bar, but like a unrealistic bar to achieve because it's so fucking good. But it could be better for sure.
It feels like, because again, it's not as like I'm not sitting there going it's a game ruining like piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just that it's very clear that this is the first time they've ever tried to execute something like that, and they've worked out the mechanics of the game so well that this is like the only weak point is the inside of this. Like the thing that makes it completely tolerable though is that the voice acting and the dialogue writing itself is really
good.
Aloy is such a great character.
Yep.
And her voice actor is amazing. And playing this like woman who probably most likely from the story comes from like the mother there, right? The lady who put her inside of the machine and probably popped out 100 years later.
Yeah.
So she's a science woman, a woman of science, born from an age of science. So like she's not believing in the mysticism. So every time someone brings it up in her, like, Jesus Christ, stop thanking the All-Mother. Like, like that kind of attitude.
Yeah, she very much has that, like, jaded,
Or everyone's like, oh, we can't go in there. And she's like, aren't you interested? And she's got that bug of exploration because she's not brainwashed by the whole, like, kind of classic fear and cultism that's formed in the world, right? Which, again, is a really great cultural thing. Like, all the cultures have grown up and sprung up, and they've all made up their own fake gods based around different things. But it's also all based on the fact that the surviving humans would have said, like, all right, machines fucked us up. They're bad, don't go near them. And it became this stigma for everyone. And everyone grew a whole religion and culture around being afraid of technology. And it's become like a literal religion. So it's such a neat story to tell just with that alone.
This story is like, okay, it's a fucking game with robot dinosaurs, and like it is a strangely intriguing story. I was shocked at how much I was ready to check out. I always am. I'm always like, just give me a reason. Just give me a reason to start hitting skip game. I don't give a fuck. I'm watching every cutscene, enjoying the hell out of every conversation.
I'm asking all the questions when the wheel comes
Same,
up.
all the questions. I want to know everything. It's interesting that like for a while there was only like tame beasts, and all of a sudden like 15 years ago or something, like that's when they started getting sawtooths, and then they started getting like these other things.
Like the machines are starting to produce bigger and badder machines.
Yeah, and you're like, oh fuck, what the hell's going? You're like, that's a crazy like thing that happened. I just thought it was always like this, as far as you guys know.
Collecting the metal flowers, like you see the first metal flower in the first like the broken down ruins that you get your focus in, and you obviously when you get a chance you book it back to get in there. And when I got in, I picked up the metal flower and started picking them all up. That's what one line Aloy said was that these aren't old, they're new.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh,
that's so interesting,
fucking cool!" Like,
yeah, it's so cool.
They're evolving. Maybe they're adapting to like become like living plants.
How dare they make like Dino Riders a cool concept? You know what I mean? Like, I did not expect, because I heard that this game had a good story, but I was like, whatever. I was like, you guys thought BioShock Infinite had a good story, like that kind of thing. And I was like, whatever. But yeah, it's so captivating. I want to know everything. I want to know more about this world. I want to know more about the cultures.
I want to explore.
One thing I want to explore. That's like all you need to say in a review of this game is like that is a driving force. You want to explore.
And it's not cumbersome, but we'll get the mechanics later.
One thing I also love about the cultures, like you said, and they seem so developed, is also something that I harped on a little bit in our Final Fantasy 15 review, where I was like, everyone's just wearing plain clothes, and I really liked the Final Fantasy 10 thing of like, these are clearly weirder cultures, and they're different, and they like everyone has different styles of clothing and all this shit. They have this tribal look to them, but also mechanized, and they're using pieces of it's just so cool to me. And it's not,
and that's tied into the even mechanics of it too, because like the pieces you wear will create an effect or whatever, and you can mod them and shit. So like these are like the salvage pieces that they're assembling on top of themselves, right? And this weird little line that the Nora specifically won't cross, where they're like afraid of the technology, right? Like where they say like, you shouldn't go any further than this. Like we should respect staying where we are. So yeah, you're right. Like the visuals represent that.
It's really cool. I feel like this game is like, I feel like everyone wants to think out things as well as Horizon is thinking them out. And everyone probably has ambitions like that, but at some point they're just like, fuck it, we can't do it or something like that. But like, they really just execute on it. And we were talking about this earlier, and this game is just kind of like a greatest hits of every great piece of good video games. Like the best piece of Far Cry is in here, you know, like the best piece of any open world game, like say The Witcher is in here, you know, like that kind of thing.
And there was even visual representations for between the cultures. So like I was getting a little bit Nora out by the point I had gotten to like where you're at currently. But now that I'm just getting into the Karja side of things, their culture is more like Iron Age stuff, but they have like finely woven clothing and full leather and stuff. Like it's like actual, like they have seamstresses and they have leather workers and metal workers and shit. Not just like I put some leather and threw and strapped on a couple of pieces from a dinosaur. This is like an outfit.
Oh, cool.
And their town, it's a watchtower currently, but it's like a castle and it's clean and it's done upright. It's not just a ruin that we threw some sticks on. Right, so the difference between the Nora to the Karja so far is very strikingly different, and I'm really liking that because if I run around in just caveman villages for this whole game, I would actually getting tired of it.
For sure.
Like by this point, I'm like, all right, another fucking wooden town. Like I want something different. So it is getting a little bit more changed. So that's super cool. So I mean, the big one too, of course, is that this game is very much an open world RPG.
Yep.
Just through and through, no denying it. It doesn't do anything new in a weird way. Like, it does, but it also doesn't. Like, it's all...
I'd say the newest... Or the thing it does new to me is I've never had combat battles like this.
Yeah.
That's probably the thing that's like... And it's like, the idea of, like, pointing an arrow at something and shooting is not new, but the way they execute battles is new. But you're right, like...
It's an open world RPG.
Collectibles and fucking the dialogue wheel, and it's an open world, and you can climb like Assassin's Creed.
But it's massaged to perfection. Everything is so organic. Every single time one of these things popped up, and I'm like, I've seen that before. I don't want to have to go fucking run around and collect that thing. It became so organic to do it. I didn't care. And then the big one, it was like first thing we mentioned right away was like travel. Like I turned this game on. I'm like, I don't want to fucking have to look how big this map is. Fucking God, who knows how well this fucking traversal works, right?
Yeah.
And then the first time they give you a mount, and you're like, all right, this is actually really annoying. The mounts, like stations where they actually are from any creature I could hack the mount, is like so far apart. I'd have to hike it back for like 2 kilometers and then grab a mount and then run back. But you can just run. It's just up to you.
Yeah, and I run everywhere because I'm also collecting resources on the way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Collecting the resources is also part of the organic nature of the whole nice cycle. Is that the collecting resources is so fucking essential.
Yes.
Because every weapon you have has to be used.
There's
no like you can just stab things.
Yeah, it's so much better than Fallout where it's like you can pick up this ashtray, this cup, and like it's all fucking useless. You could use it to craft a slightly better shotgun, maybe, or like maybe not, or you could sell it for 3 caps. This is like I have 6 different types of weapons that I use in every battle against anything bigger than a fucking, a sawtooth or like bigger type thing. I use it against every battle, and I run out and like I'm crafting on the go, and I need this constantly to keep myself prepared for anything I might come across, because I've been wandering and all of a sudden I'm like, that thing's a fucking stealth mode tiger thing. Like I don't know what that is, but like it's fucking me up good, and I need to use everything at my disposal constantly as I'm going, it's awesome.
And there's no like in other games where like they give you all the options, but at the end of the day, the only thing to rely on is your sword, right?
No, your staff.
Well, but I mean, like in any game, like in for like The Witcher, not The Witcher.
Oh,
like,
I had the same thought. We're like mental compadres. Compadres? Fucking yes, yeah. I was thinking about that too, because you're right. In like BioShock, you could literally just use the wrench the entire time if you want, or just use your main sword, and you'll never have to think about anything else at all.
Yeah, like all those other extra weapons. Like they're like, how cool is it that we have this weapon that, like, let's just take Prey as an example for a game we haven't touched yet. And they're like, here's this cool grenade that sucks everything into the middle of the room, but you'd never use it because at the end of the day, your gun does all. Right? Like you could just shoot a room down.
You could just use an assault rifle in a lot of first-person shooters and be fine.
Just mow things, right? In this game, they make all of the components you gather really essential to make the weapons that you must use. Because
I use...
Stabbing things is no good, and your bow, at the end of the day, will have you getting reamed so often. You could drop something with your bow, but you'll burn all your arrows, burn all your fucking resources.
Yep.
And then you'll have, like, no fucking herbs left to heal yourself with, and you're booking it around not to refill all that shit, and every time you run into something, that'll be your issue.
Yeah, like I'm setting traps. I'm using the trip caster. I love the rope caster. Fucking love it.
The locking them down?
Yeah, locking them down with ropes.
I haven't used that one very much.
Oh my god, I use it constantly.
Oh, you do?
Because I rope cast them, and then I use the sling to freeze shot them, and then I go up and I just stab them in the fucking head, like with critical hits. And I was like, you're dead, bitch! But just over and over again. And
I gotta use the rope caster more. I don't use it.
Because I do that, to stall them down, and then like with sawtooths, I can also go up to them if I want, and like I can override them now. So it's just like I'm like, whoop! Yep. I'm like, you're on my side. Fight the other two.
Yeah.
And every battle is so like I don't get to do that in every battle, but like I try to use the same technique, and you gotta think on the fly so much. I would say someone said this, and it kind of resonated with me. It's not a problem for me, but I could see it. They didn't. I just bought all the weapons and started using them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't actually like give you a weapon and encourage you to use it at any point in that game. You know, they're not very like. It's very much like
they do.
Do they?
Yeah. So the one thing is they give you optional quests, which actually do give you a big chunk of XP. For each weapon you get a new optional quest to use it.
But that's only if you buy the weapon.
Yeah, you buy the weapon, and it's like sharpshoot bow, shoot 12 things in the head.
But there's no like, you know, in a lot of games they're like, here's the fucking shotgun, use it to kill 3, you know, whatever.
They do that. So every step along the way, they also give you the hunting grounds.
Yes.
And the hunting grounds are training you how to use it. Because I'd not used any of the other traps, and was sitting there like an asshole shooting things with just my bow and stabbing them, thinking I had to just stealth up and stab them all, which was a waste of time and energy and etc. But then I went into the hunting ground, and then the hunting ground was like, go down there, and you have to knock off these particular components, because this makes this happen. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then I was like, when I scanned them, I was like, oh, fuck, if I knock these parts off, it actually gives me more materials for this. And I'm like, okay, so that's cool. The next one was like, you got to use your tripcaster, but also if you want them with the herd ones to run where you want them to, you got to set explosion off in the right direction. And I redid that fucking hunting ground so many times, because the first one had like 3 different fucking paths, and then I'd set traps up, like 5 of them along one rope, and be like, all right, go, and then they'd run down the other path. And I'd be like, fuck, all right. So I'd reset the thing, go back out, and luckily the traps are permanent.
Yeah.
Literally, I'll get to this in a second, but so I set traps up on another one, they went down the other path. And so I set traps up on all 4 paths. So eventually when they just ran, they would just run through.
No matter where they went,
they were just fucked by explosions no matter where they went. I was like, fuck it. Which was funny because I didn't know how long the traps last. So I later on, I just bolted past them on a strider. I just had to get somewhere else, and I spooked them again. All the traps were still there. So I'm just riding, and suddenly it was just started going, machine kill, machine kill, machine kill. I'm like, oh. They just stay there. So if they ever wandered off, like, I crossed the entire map and came back.
Yeah.
Still there.
I love the variety in the enemies, too. Like, there's just so many, and they're also fun to fight. Like we were talking about the crabs. The crabs are annoying as fuck. They're the hardest things. And
the giant flame.
When I first saw it, I was like, look at this box ass motherfucker. Yeah. I was like, he looks so stupid. I was like, oh, fucking, you're just a shitty bug. You're not even a good crab. And then he just puts up a shield and he's coming at me real fast. Yeah, I was like, no! I did not expect this.
Well, that's the 3 things about him. So, like, I saw the first time I ran into the fire bellowbacks, the big, like, fire-breathing T-Rexes. And, like, I'm like, these things have got to be tough. And they're tough. But, like, you know, I dropped them, and I'm like, all right, that was a tough fight. And then I got finally to the shell walkers, and then I scanned them. I'm like, all right, I knock your thing out the back. If you knock the thing out the back, they get twice as pissed. They spot you 5 times easier than anyone else. Like, I'll hit a bellowback in the back of the head with an arrow, and it'll sit there going, what's going on? And then ignore me.
Yeah.
I hit this thing and its fucking little backside, and it's like, you!
Yeah, they're on a rampage.
Yeah.
Like, And they jump and are faster than like half the other robots.
They jump further and they home or something. Because like when they jump, I'm like, okay, they're gonna swing past me, and it's just like,
as soon as I know I'm in battle with those things now, I'm just constantly mashing the roll button. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. And then they got the shield and the thing that it can shoot. And then you go up close to them to punch them, and then they have a fucking AOE effect.
Yes, yeah, they're
way harder.
So
than
far,
else.
So far the shellwalkers are like the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
Every time I see one, I'm like, fuck.
I've only taken out 1 stealth panther though.
Yeah, and I did in the middle of a quest. Yeah. It was that. Yeah.
The guy was just like talking to me, and he got hit.
Yeah, no, he's like, that was fucking great.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck was that?
I love that because I was like, oh, is this just a dialogue quest where I have to go down? And then the fucking. But that was a cool area too. There's tall trees that were barren, and like he was. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Everything is just. Mwah, so good. So fucking good. Yeah. I love this game.
One thing I kind of thought would be a little bit more was like high-paced action if you ever got stuck in a place where you couldn't hide. So a lot of the game revolves around you setting up your traps, rolling off, and then like sliding back into a bush where they'll be like, oh, we don't see you anymore. Right? And I'll take the stupid machines, whatever, that's fine. Like I get that, you know, they saw me go into the bush, they should know I'm in that bush, but they don't. I don't care. I really don't. in other games I would, but in this one, it's just like if they could always see me once they spot me, I'd be booking it to make them
you have to leave the whole area and come back. Yeah.
Like this makes it way more organic again, so I'm totally down with it. But like in the cutscenes and in the trailers, they had stuff where like underneath the sawtooth is like an impossible to shoot canister. That if you shoot that, it'll just finish them, right? But you can't hit it from the outside. So in the trailers, they have you sliding under one while it is launching itself at you, and then you slow down time and you would be able to hit, or like do it like a reflex mode, and then hit it and underneath it.
Yeah.
There's no way you're pulling that shit off.
I mean, you can, but
like no, it's not something you could just do.
No,
right?
you need to practice
because everything else in that game flows so organically that like lets you just figure it out and play on your own. To do that would be to like do it because it looks cool. There's actually easier ways. It's just set enough traffic.
Yeah, that's definitely like a I'm showing off type thing. You have to do that.
But it's designed specifically clearly that you're supposed to try and somehow get underneath the belly of this thing. And really to do that is particularly special. And then even once you get the sliding slow down time thing, it lasts so short.
It'll be so hard to do.
Yeah, like I never really use it. Like I slide and I slow down time and I'm like, all right, I've got to, and I'm like, okay, I can't even get my bow over to the thing in time. I use it when I'm just standing and aiming, and I need to like take that moment to just aim for a spot.
Go precise,
and go precise. Like that's about it. But yeah, like the combat itself with all those different.
The combat is so dynamic. Every battle is so different, and like again, having to use all your weapons in a single fight. Super fun. I love the planning aspect to it, and I love when it becomes a shit show. I love it when your plan doesn't go right, almost, because I'm like, oh, I gotta think on my feet now.
I like it when it goes shit show with, and this is one of the, it's not a downside, it's just one of my little gripes, really, at the end of the day, is like, I love the, like, crazy battles that happen with machines, but the human ones, when you're doing the thieves' nests.
Oh, yeah, I stealth those things entirely, because it's not fun to...
Yeah, if I fuck it up, I reset. Because, like, they'll be like, you gotta save the prisoners and take out the alarm, right? Or some shit. Well, actually, the one I kept resetting was the Attack of the Nora one, where you have to sneak around and hit the fire things and blow up the wall so they can get in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I kept doing that, and then, like, apparently, if you kill enough people, it just sets them all off.
Oh, I just snuck, like, straight through the middle to the blaze. Like,
So I kept on killing a few people along the way, and then I found a way around, and then I started killing them. And every single time I got to this last person, I'm in a corridor. There's no walls to outside. And I shot him in the head, and they're all like, you! And
I wonder if it's just a trigger after you kill 7. And
then... I did it 7 times, and every time I killed that one last guy, it kept triggering. They all knew me. So as soon as you kill enough people, so it was like their own little punishment system. But... with the thieves stuff too, like I was taking out one place that was a little bit higher level than me, and like the moment it turned into a free for all, it was just fucking slashy, hacky. Rolling,
so the only time that I've turned it into a free for all and it was fun was because I lured someone over who had one of the Gatling gun type things or a fire spewer, firework, whatever the fuck, whatever heavy weapon it was, and then I just mowed them all down, which is fun. But yeah, when you get the whole place on your ass and everyone's coming at you and there are people sniping you and trying to hit you, and it's just not fun.
No.
It's like the combat's almost not meant for like human combat. You know what I mean?
It's really not, because it actually is really boring once you get into that. But what I do like about it is like a couple of places, so the thieves' dens that I've taken out, is the people who have designed these environments deserves like a fucking Oscar.
I was gonna say about the bandit, because they're the way they're laid out.
You know that every game goes in an open world game, and they're like, oh, you know, in this open world game, we give you multiple paths, and any one will work. No, really, at the end of the day, unless you follow the exact path you designed for me, like I'm just gonna get spotted. This game has, and even with the dinosaurs, every spot in the open world, and especially with the like thieves' den, anything. And you can plan it out how you want, and it almost always works.
Yes, it's fucking...
as long as you're careful about it, like. You can just go up into this bridge and then stand there, drop down, get this guy, roll into a bush, and then you're like, oh, I'm waiting for this guy. If he gets there, I'm going to get there. And then literally you can plan it out any way you want. So it's not like Metal Gear Solid where you have to like literally do it the way they've shown you. Otherwise, you're fucked. Right? Yeah. It's anything. And the environment has been designed. Someone's play tested with the environment designer and was like, what if I walked in through here? Could you make it work that I could come in through here and jump up through that and do that? Yeah, we'll redesign that for you so that you can do that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to try and come in from over here. Could that work? No, it doesn't.
I have the strike from above and belows, and I get that option all the time, and those
are the first things I bought. I realized, like, I first Steve's End, I didn't have strike from below, and I got there and I'm just hanging there, and I'm like, he's standing right fucking... Alright, leave. Okay, you're gone. No, not far. You're back. If I could just stab you.
Yeah. It's been a lot easier. Yeah, so I think we've kissed, I was going to say kissed the dick of the combat enough.
We kissed the dick.
I was going to say, at first I was going to go kiss the ass of, and then I was thinking suck the dick. That didn't work at all. So we kissed the dick. We kissed the dick of the combat enough. I think combat is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really, the big core of this game, I think, is just how cool it is.
And the environment designer, I would suck his dick. Like, he's amazing.
Well, and that's kind of
she or whoever it is.
To end out the spoiler cast or this initial impressions cast, the first cauldron.
Oh my god!
I was just filled with just such awe
and joy.
Yes, it was so fucking cool looking
and fun to navigate.
Yes. Oh
my
god!
And new mechanics once you got in. They're like, hey, there's no cover in here. How about you shoot these vents to make cover? You know? Or, like, we're going to move through this thing. Jump onto a crate and have it carry you through the fucking machinery.
Yes. Like, oh, my God. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And, yeah, these big, like, glowy orb, like, grabby thing. Fuck, that was so cool. And you get there, and it's like, they're making the machines there, and you're like, okay, this is how it's done. This is fucking crazy. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. And, like, yeah, I had to fight. It was a Belloback in that one, right? The fire spitter. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I ran into one, so I was like, oh, this is new.
I fought them before, but then I saw it, I'm like, fuck, and there's no cover, and there's no ways to run to, so what am I supposed to do? So when I fought it killed me the first time, but it's stuck in the middle of a cage, so I just set traps up around the whole cage.
Oh, smart.
You know, like before I turned it on, and then I just set up more traps around that, so the moment it turned out, it just kept walking through and being like, how about this one? And I'm just standing there, and I'm like, yep. Pew! Pew! Pew!
I die a lot in this game, more than I die in almost any game that I can think of in recent memory.
Yeah, I've died more than I have in a game in recent memory at all.
And it's often not to, I guess that's the only boss battle we've been in. Oh, I guess the End of the Proving is kind of a boss battle. But, like, I just wasn't prepared enough to take on a whole horde of Striders or something. Yep. And I was like, they overwhelmed me. That's cool. Like, I love that. I love wandering. I said this about Fallout before, is why why I didn't like the dynamic leveling system. When it just leveled with you, I never felt I was in danger. If I went somewhere and there was a Deathclaw, I was like, okay, it's level 6 like I am. It doesn't matter. Whereas this is like, that's fucking dangerous. Like, and I love nighttime, and I'm going around, and in the background you see like 3 blue lights going, and you're like, fuck, what is that? And it's like a Watcher and 2 Sawtooths or a whole thing of Grazers. Fuck. Also,
I'm scanning all the time now. Like, I'll be running and being like, I haven't scanned for a bit. Stop, scan, and be like, fucking glad I did that.
Yes, yeah.
Because when you scan too, you hear further away, so you start hearing like grinding metal from somewhere, and you're like, fucking god, what's over there?
Yeah. But I just love, even without that, I just love the nighttime because you can see them farther in the distance because the lights and stuff, and you're like, okay, there's something over there. I gotta be careful.
Like, the mounts aren't exciting in it, so like for traversal, like the whole like, oh, you can hack and get a mount. I'm like, okay, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
But
maybe there's something better for mount than a Strider.
There are some other ones. There's the Chargers, who are like bulls with big, like long curved horns.
I just fought those today.
And then there's another one now too that have like curled like ram horns that I ran into. But in the end of the day, they're all cows. Like,
yeah, I guess so.
With
that's
horns.
True.
Like, that's all I run into. Everything else you hack just fights for you. And one of the things that everyone complained about was the fucking what are they? The tall necks. And climbing up to the top of them was supposed to be this like, oh, they're just towers. They're just viewpoint towers. But I actually thought it was neat. I've only done one for this whole area.
Same. I kept thinking I was missing one. Yeah. Or another one or something.
I just found a new one. But like getting up to it was kind of like a neat adventure, climbing up the thing and then getting onto its back and getting up top, and the big thing, and it released a giant EMP that cleared the area out for me after it was done. It had to have been that, because when the EMP thing goes off, once you rappel down the side of it, like a big energy blast, I started running, and I'm like, where is everything dead? Everything was dead. There was no bad guys. And I came back later on, and all the bad guys are back.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, the moment I jumped down, it wiped out everything in the area.
That's totally possible. I just might not remember. Do you have any final thoughts on Horizon so far? I assume once we beat the game, we're gonna do a final one.
Yeah,
on story spoilers and all this shit.
It's an extraordinary game, really well put together. The best part about it is that, like, while it's not truly, honestly breaking any boundaries aside from pretty much shooting parts off of dinosaurs, robot dinosaurs, it's an organic, really tight, everything plays into itself game. And we haven't played it all the way through to know if everything's coming out nice and clear and proper at the end of the day. Really, at the end of the day, my only true complaint is it just has a twinge of, this is our first time. And that's it.
Sure.
And then the thing is like for a first time, like Jesus Christ, it'd be like having like your first time having sex and just like making like 3 women orgasm even though you're not touching them. You know, like
yeah, it's a great game. I think it's the best open world game since The Witcher 3. And I think they took what The Witcher did in a lot of this game too and just expanded on and made it even better.
It's the best open world game I've played in a long time. Like we've both been bitching on this very podcast about how much we're tired of open world games and how much I don't want to run across this shit.
But if you give us a good enough one, we'll want to.
Yeah, apparently.
That's just how it is. Yeah, so if you're a fan of Witcher 3 or something, like I recommend this game highly. Even if
I recommend this for everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything about this game that doesn't twinge someone in some way. Like there's always a dino freak and like they'll love it. There's someone who likes sci-fi, they'll love it. If someone likes open world action adventures, they'll love it. If you don't like RPGs...
I really hope, and I think, we don't have sales data yet. They're projecting it to sell 7 million. But I hope this is PlayStation's next big franchise.
I'm sure it will be. I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Check back in probably 2 weeks for another spoiler cast. Maybe 3. Mike's going on vacation 1 week. I'm on Twitter at TheCalG. Mike is at MikeKentDraws. Pens and Pixels is across all social medias. Pick your poison.
Mm-hmm. And please be sure to like, share, and subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. You can also catch all of our content on any one of those other providers. If you like YouTube, use YouTube. If you like iTunes, use iTunes. Be sure to comment. We like hearing from you guys. We like the conversation. We will respond to you if you leave us any comments. Let us know what you think about the game. Let us know if you have something you like, something you disagree with.
Were we sucking this game's dick too much?
Yeah.
Probably. But we're among the crowd that it just is.
Yes.
We're in the...
And it's a game that lived up to its hype.
Yeah. How often does that happen?
It does not happen that
We just did a spoiler cast on Logan saying it didn't live up to hype, even though we still loved it.
Yep.
It's just nice to have something... It's almost like relief, holy fuck, it is as good. It's even better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, like Mass Effect's in that category. Will we be stuck in Mass Effect dick?
Yeah, well, tune in 4 weeks from now to find out.
The 3-pronged arrowhead dick?
Scarborough. That's where we end this week. Arrivederci, everybody.